Hi, you guys. Welcome to Miss Polarity's Speech and Language class. All right, we are reading The Richest Man in Babylon, and we are in chapter 2. We left off at page 12. It's only a few more pages, so listen carefully, and I may ask you some questions, and I will definitely assign an assignment. We need to complete story elements, and so basically the characters of this chapter, the setting of the story, which is still in Babylon. I gave you the answer. The problem, the solution. So we have a new character and he's introducing new solutions. So listen to that and how the story ends. So the ending. Once you write that, I will assign for you to summarize this chapter. So listen carefully. And here we go. It is page 12. And every fool must learn, he growled. But why trust the knowledge of a brickmaker about jewels? Would you go to the bread maker to inquire about the stars? No. By my tunic, you would go to the astrologer. If you had power to think, your savings are gone. Youth, you have jerked your wealth tree up by the roots. But plant another. Try again. And next time, if you would have advice about jewels, go to the jewel merchant. If you would know the truth about sheep, go to the herdsman. Advice is one thing that is freely given away, but watch that you take only what is worth having. He who takes advice about his savings from one who is inexperienced in such matters shall pay with his savings for proving the falsity of their opinions. Saying this, he went away. I'll stop you right there. It's basically saying he took advice from somebody who wasn't experienced or wasn't successful in the area of managing finances. So he's basically saying if you want advice about jewels, you're not going to go to the shepherd. If you want advice about astrology and the stars, you're not going to go seek advice from a bread maker. Many times we seek advice from people who are not even successful financially, and they're giving you advice and they're in a hole. So basically he's saying be smart. You get the advice from the person who's actually experienced and has success or has shown success in that area. So I thought that was very important. And it was as he said, for the Phoenicians are scoundrels and sold to Asmur worthless bits of glass that looked like gems. But as Algamish had bid me, I again saved each 10th copper, for I now had formed the habit and it was no longer difficult. So he'd made a mistake, right, investing, but he learned and he just started again. So when we make mistakes, we learn from our mistakes and we start again. So he made a mistake, took advice from somebody who was not experienced, and but he learned from it and he began to be consistent in his habits, because his habit was, what was that solution? What did Algamish teach him? He taught him that a 10th, that means 10%, of all you make is yours to keep. So save 10%. That was that solution from Algamish. Again, 12 months later, Algamish came to the room of the scribes and addressed me. What progress have you made since last I saw you? I have paid myself faithfully, I replied, and my savings I have entrusted to Agar, the shield maker, to buy bronze, and each 4th month he does pay me the rental. That is good. And what do you do with the rental? I do have a great feast with honey and fine wine and spice cake. Also, I have bought me a scarlet tunic, and someday I shall buy me a young, it's like a donkey, upon which to ride. To which Algamish laughed. You do eat the children of your savings. Then how do you expect them to work for you? Basically, he was spending everything that he was saving. And how can they have children that will also work for you? First get thee an army of golden slaves, and then many a rich banquet may you enjoy without regret. So saying, he again went away. Now remember, during this time, they bought slaves, and that was the workers. Not something you should ever do. Nor did I again see him for 2 years, when he once more returned, and his face was full of deep lines, and his eyes drooped, for he was becoming a very old man. And he said to me, Arcad, hast thou yet achieved the wealth thou dreamest of? So time has passed, and he basically told him to save 10% of all he made and also to invest. So 2 years passed, and let's see what Arcad has learned. And I answered, not yet all that I desired, but some I have, and it earns more, and its earnings earn more. So he invested in something that keeps making money. And do you still take the advice of brick makers? About brick making, they give good advice, I retorted. Arcad, he continued, you have learned your lesson well. What's that lesson that he learned? To seek advice from a person who is experienced and successful in that area. You don't get advice about making bread from a brick maker. You don't get advice from jewels from a shepherd. You get advice from that area that he or she is an expert in. Remember that. Don't get advice about money from somebody who's clearly broke. Arcad, he continued, you have learned your lessons well. You first learned to live upon less than you could earn. So that was a good lesson, to live upon less than you could earn. So live below your means. Next, you learned to seek advice from those who were competent through their own experiences to give it. And lastly, you have learned to make gold work for you. Let's just stop right there. What did he learn? Besides, the first thing he learned was 10% all that he made was his to keep. He also learned to live below his means. Basically, not to spend everything, right? Not to spend everything, to live more modestly, live below his means so that he can save. Next, he learned to get advice from those who were competent and experienced. Okay, what's the word competent? Competent, what is that? That means that person has mastered. They're successful. They have knowledge and wisdom about an area. They're fully competent, and they can prove it. Okay, so he sought advice from those that were competent. And last, you have learned to make gold work for you. So he has the ability to make his money multiply and work for him. You have taught yourself how to acquire money, how to keep it, and how to use it. What did he teach himself? How to get money, right? How to keep it, and how to use it. Therefore, you are competent for a responsible position. I am becoming an old man. My sons think only of spending and give no thought to earning. My interests are great, and I fear too much for me to look after. If you will go to Nippur and look after my lands there, I shall make you my partner, and you shall share in my estates. Ooh, you see, his knowledge got him a great job, a partnership. So just remember that the more you know, the better positions you can acquire in life, because knowledge is power. So I went to Nippur and took charge of his holdings, which were large. And because I was full of ambition, what's ambition? When you want more out of life, right? And because I had mastered the 3 laws of successfully handling wealth. What are the 3 laws of successfully handling wealth? How to acquire money, how to keep it, and how to use it, right? I was enabled to increase greatly the value of his properties. So I prospered much, and when the spirit of Algamish departed for the sphere of darkness, I did share in his estate as he had arranged under the law. So basically he said after Algamish died, he actually got a good share of his estate, of his property that they arranged. So spake Arcad, and when he had finished his tale, one of his friends said, You were indeed fortunate that our Algamish made of you an heir. So he's basically saying you're lucky. Fortunate only in that I had the desire to prosper before I first met him. So it wasn't luck. He actually had a desire. He had that ambition to prosper before he met him. For 4 years did I not prove my definiteness of purpose by keeping 1/10 of all I earned. Would you call a fisherman lucky, who for years so studied the habits of the fish that with each changing wind he could cast his nets about them? Opportunity is a haughty goddess who wastes no time with those who are unprepared. I have another vocabulary word here. What is haughty? What is the word haughty? Not like haughty like Hottie, but haughty as in Haughty. Opportunity is a haughty goddess. Haughty is when you, that pride, that ability to think that you're better, right? Who wastes no time with those who aren't prepared. So when you think and you want excellence and you think you're better, they don't deal with people who are not prepared. You had strong willpower to keep on after you lost your first year's savings. You are unusual in that way, spoke up another. Willpower, retorted Arcad. What nonsense. Do you think willpower gives a man the strength to lift a burden the camel cannot carry, or to draw a load the oxen cannot budge? Willpower is but the unflinching purpose to carry a task you set for yourself to fulfillment. If I set for myself a task, be it ever so trifling, I shall see it through. How else shall I have confidence in myself to do important things? Should I say to myself for 100 days as I walk across the bridge into the city, I will pick from the road a pebble and cast it into the stream? I would do it. If on the 7th day I pass by without remembering, I would not say to myself, tomorrow I will cast 2 pebbles, which will do as well. Instead, I would retrace my steps and cast the pebble. Nor on the 20th day would I say to myself, Arcad, this is useless. What does it avail you to cast a pebble every day? Throw in a handful and be done with it. No, I would not say that nor do it. When I set a task for myself, I complete it. Basically, when I put goals, I actually do it. I am careful not to start difficult and impractical tasks because I love leisure. So set reasonable and obtainable goals and being consistent. And then another friend spoke up and said, if what you tell me is true, and it does seem as you have said, reasonable, then being so simple, if all men did it, there would not be enough wealth to go around. Wealth grows wherever men exert energy. Arcad replied, if a rich man builds him a new palace, is the gold he pays out gone? No, the brickmaker has part of it, and the laborer has part of it, and the artist has part of it, and everyone who labors upon the house has a part of it. Yet when the palace is completed, is it not worth all it costs? And is the ground upon which it stands not worth more because it is there? And is the ground that adjoins it not worth more because it is there? Wealth grows in magic ways. No man can prophesy the limit of it. Have not the Phoenicians built great cities on barren coasts with the wealth that comes from their ships of commerce on the seas? What then do you advise us to do that we also may become rich? Asked still another of his friends. The years have passed and we are no longer young men, and we have nothing put by. I advise that you take the wisdom of Algamish and say to yourselves, a part of all I earn is mine to keep. What was the advice of Algamish? A part of all I earn is mine to keep. Say it in the morning when you first arise. A part of all I earn is mine to keep. Say it at noon. Say it at night. Say it each hour of every day. Say it to yourself until the words stand out like letters of fire across the sky. He really wants you to know this. What did he say? A part of all you earn is yours to keep. That's the number one secret to attaining wealth. Impress yourself with the idea. Fill yourself with the thought. Then take whatever portion seems wise. Let it be not less than 1/10 and lay it by. So minimum of 10% is yours to keep. Arrange your other expenditures to do this if necessary, but lay by that portion first. Soon you will realize what a rich feeling it is to own a treasure upon which you alone have claim. As it grows, it will stimulate you. So you get motivated by seeing, wow, that 10% that I keep putting in there, that I'm not touching, that I'm not spending, it's growing and growing and growing. It's acquiring, you're acquiring wealth. As it grows, it will stimulate you. So stimulate will to motivate. What does stimulate mean? To motivate. A new joy of life will thrill you. Greater efforts will come to you to earn more. For of your increased earnings will not the same percentage be also yours to keep? Then learn to make your treasure work for you. Make it your slave. Make its children and its children's children work for you. So make the money that you have and are acquiring, let it work for you. And that's where you invest. Ensure an income for thy future. Look thou at the aged, and forget not that in thy days to come thou also wilt be numbered among them. Therefore invest thy treasure with greatest caution, that it be not lost. Usurious rates of return are deceitful sirens that sing, but to lure the unwary upon the rocks of loss and remorse. Provide also that thy family may not want, should the gods call thee to their realms. For such protection, it is always possible to make provision with small payments at regular intervals. Therefore, the provident man delays not in expectation of a large sum becoming available for such a wise purpose. He basically said, prepare and you also save for your family, because you do not know when death will be knocking at your door. So to prepare this treasure for emergencies, for your future, for your family, in case you go to that afterlife. Enjoy life while you are here. Do not overstrain or try to save too much. And that's another thing. Some people try to save too much and they don't even live and experience life, and then money is just to rot in a bank, and they don't enjoy anything. So it is moderation. It's finding that balance. If 1/10 of all you earn is as much as you can comfortably keep, be content to keep this portion. Live otherwise according to your income, and let not yourself be afraid to spend. Life is good and life is rich, with things worthwhile and things to enjoy. His friends thanked him and went away. Some were silent because they had no imagination and could not understand. Some were sarcastic because they thought that one so rich should divide with old friends not so fortunate. But some had in their eyes a new light. They realized that Algamish had come back each time to the room of the scribes because he was watching a man work his way out of darkness into light. When that man had found the light, a place awaited him. No one can fill that place until he had for himself worked out his own understanding, until he was ready for opportunity. These later were the ones who in the following years frequently revisited our God, who received them gladly. He counseled with them and gave them freely of his wisdom, as men of broad experience are always glad to do. And he assisted them in so investing their savings that it would bring in a good interest with safety, and would neither be lost nor entangled in investments that paid no dividends. The turning point in these men's lives came upon the day when they realized the truth that had come from Algamish to Arkad, and from Arkad to them. So the lesson, the number one rule that Algamish taught Arkad, and that Arkad taught Banzir and Kobe, a part of all you earn is yours to keep. And that part, that minimum, should be at least 10%. That was the number one secret, the number one rule. A part of all you earn is yours to keep. And as we were reading here, it did say that it was that consistency, that every time that a person would earn money, 10% goes into your savings, and you make it a habit, and you watch it grow and grow. So you learn to acquire money. You learn how to keep it by not overspending, and you learn how to use it, and you learn to make that money work for you. But the number one rule from this chapter 2 that Algamish taught Arkad was, a part of all you earn is yours to keep. That's how this story ends. Think about the story elements, who the characters are in this story. So yes, Banzir and Kobe, because they did go talk to Arkad. But now we introduce a new character, who was Algamish. Algamish taught Arkad. And in it, the problem was, well, Arkad wanted to know the secrets of being wealthy. The solution is that Algamish began to teach him the laws of becoming wealthy, and the main law, the main rule that is the basic foundation is to save 10% of all you earn. A part of all you earn is yours to keep. He also taught him some other things, like to seek advice only from those who are competent, means who are experts in that area. So you don't go to a bread maker about jewels, right? You don't go to someone who's broke and poor about how to be successful financially. You don't do that. And then he taught him to make your money work for you, so that you can produce money, whether that be a great job or whether that may be investing in something that makes money for you. Okay? That is chapter 2. Wait for the assignment.